Hi, what's your name?
My name's Marc.
And how long have you been in Plymouth?
Oh, I've been living in Plymouth for, crikey, it's going to be, what, 10 years now?
Yeah.
Or more. I've enjoyed living here.
Yeah.
But I do see a lot of states where people are on the streets and homeless, and which I feel is wrong.
Yeah.
There's lots of abandoned properties here that need to be filled.
Yeah.
And I believe that there should be no homelessness in Plymouth whatsoever.
Yeah.
I also think that we should be creating more for people in Plymouth and open up buildings to develop work.
Yeah.
And create work and space for people that haven't worked for a long time.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense.
I don't believe there should be any homelessness, people on the streets, or I also don't believe there should be people out of work.
Yeah.
Because it's a two-way system to me. And the reason why it's two-way is because on one hand, we've got people that want to work and go off and do training, go off to college and whatever. That's fine. We've got the other people who want to work but can't find anything.
Yeah.
But as an area,
I haven't been unemployed in Plymouth for a long time. I find it a vicious circle where you spend years looking for work in the city, and going back to the beginning, there's a massive student population here now, and it's become a major student city.
yes,
And if you go to the job centre, the first thing the job centre makes you do is take off your qualifications off your CV in order to meet the local job market. Well, there's no job market here anyway.
no,
Because it's all minimum wage structured jobs within the social services or cleaning.
that's correct. And
And possibly restaurants.
restaurants, and not just that, there's factory cleaning as well. And
Yeah.
also people in factories now, a lot of it's run by agencies where they take half of your earnings off you anyway,
Yeah.
which then you don't know where you stand. But maybe it's on a plus side, yes, it gives people jobs. On the other side, it's taking things away from people as well, because there's nothing wrong with agencies. But what I'm trying to say is that I think that there should be an offer of a job or some sort of prospect of someone getting employed with a company
But it's got to
from
be
an
the right,
agency.
surely it's got to be the right sort of job for the person. The person's got to be happy in what they're doing.
Well, yes, would be happy.
Otherwise, you end up
Yes.
with a workforce of unhappy people and a dysfunctional workplace. Otherwise,
Well, welcome to the 21st century.
Yeah.
Because there's how many people can you say that are working in Plymouth and say, "Oh, I'm happy with
that's
my
true.
job."
That's true.
They're not.
Yeah.
They say they are, but they're not.
Yeah.
Because they're either in the wrong job, or I'm overqualified, or I shouldn't be doing this, I shouldn't be doing that, I'm qualified to do that. When a big question mark to be asked, are they qualified to do it? Because if they were qualified to do it, they would have the job.
Yeah.
There. So, as I see as a city, I like Plymouth. I do like Plymouth. But we need growth. We need growth in this city.
What sort of growth?
We need an industry back. We need more factories, more sort of development growth in making things. We have one, I believe, maybe a couple of food factories in Plymouth, which is Bert's, chips, crisps, whatever you want to call them. That's up at Roborough. How many people can get to Roborough? It's out the way. Then we've got another food factory, which I think is well out the way, which is down at Plympton, and I'm not sure it's right in the sticks of Plympton. No buses can get there, so you need a car.
So, what jobs have you done in Plymouth?
What jobs have I done in Plymouth? Yes, I've worked for an agency. I've done bin collecting, done doing the bins and that. So, but it's only an agency. I've worked in care. I've also done community care in Plymouth, and that can be corrupt as well. we're, the nature of it, of all of the governing city of it all, we're not outward looking, we're inward looking, and we should be seeking to get people a better prospect of jobs.
I find a lot of hypocrisy, from my point of view, I find a lot of hypocrisy because the dynamics of the city from generations ago, where people discovered the world from Plymouth, and you had Lawrence of Arabia just across the water, 10 minutes away from where you live,
Yeah.
In his last posting, and then you had Henry Falcon Scott, who sailed from here to go to the pole.
Yeah.
And these people were very inspirational, and it seems to have gone the opposite way, where everybody's put down, and all the hope and motivation is taken away from them.
Yeah. I mean, I think with what we do as a nation, as Plymouth, you say I put it down, we're trying to be bigger than we actually are, I think is the word. How can I express that bit? Is they think a lot of people out there think there's lots of things going on, lots of jobs, lots of this, lots of that, lots of the other, and if you look in the inward side, there's nothing to give here.
Yeah,
We're an ocean city where we've got, we're an ocean city, we've got developments happening, there's supposed to be buildings going up and housing developments being chucked here, there, everywhere. But
well, you've got to have a working infrastructure for the housing.
Exactly, you've got to have the right land, the right level.
The right sort of working infrastructure, Call centres is nothing because call centres are just short term.
Exactly. I mean, they run on basically.
And they're unhealthy as well.
Yeah,
people are just sitting at monitors all the time.
Sitting at monitors and just doing everything else, so they don't move about. But in the infrastructure of Plymouth, you've got to think to yourself that there's a plus, there's a minus. We as Plymouthians is the word.
I'm not Plymouthian. I've never allowed myself to be part of the city, to be honest, because it's not doing anything for me.
No. But as as people live in Plymouth, and some of them work, some of them don't, some of them are on the streets, and I'll come to that in a minute, the people on the streets, and I will come to that now. Some of the people on the streets that I see that walk along there, got any change, mate? I deeply believe they're not homeless. And the reason why they're not homeless is because they're too well dressed. A real homeless person would be in rags, basically, and it's a form of begging.
Somebody did mention to me a few days ago that a lot of them have got very healthy-looking dogs as well.
Exactly, and you think
apparently they get benefits for the dogs or something like that.
Benefits for the dogs, and
I could be wrong.
Yeah, but then they open up what they call. I'll go on to that bit where they're opening up bits for. They have soup kitchens, which yes, it's very good. That's run by a charity. Now that's a good thing.
Can I just say something? From what I've seen, people on the streets, they tend to be the same people all the time. And it also puts them into the legal criminal system because they're constantly being harassed by the police. And then it's the same people going through the same circle with the same solicitors. So that actually releases money to the solicitors, but it doesn't solve the problem for the people that keep going back on the streets. And they don't have to be on the streets, like you said. So it's a vicious circle that they need to be got out of.
Yeah.
And that's not being naive, that's being realistic. Because I've seen situations where some of the people on the streets have actually been pushing drugs onto students.
Yeah.
And then getting students into a drug habit.
Yeah. And also as well...
apart from that, people on the streets is all over Europe, not just in Plymouth.
No, well, I mean, that's right. I mean, there are a lot of people on the streets and they're begging, and as you've mentioned there, they've got dogs and they look okay, so you think, well, they've got a place. But you know, there's you look what a few years ago now. What's closed? A civic centre, a great big building. It was full of workers like that. They closed it. It's got concrete cancer, and no one can do anything with that. Well, I had a solution to that.
Pull it down. I mean, there's a preservation order on it, and
they're not allowed to knock it down.
No, well, the thing is, they can't do anything with it either because, like you said, it's top heavy with concrete cancer, so they can't do anything at all with it.
Exactly, but I have an issue with that to say, well, hold on a minute. There are things that could be done with it if you use your initiative.
Well, what's that then?
Well,
it's full of concrete cancer, and it's going to cost more to repair it.
It's going to cost more to repair it. But stand there doing idle nothing, why don't we put the homeless people in there?
Because it's not safe.
Safe stuff. well, what are they going to do to it? They're not going to burn it to the ground.
Anyway, let's move on from that.
Okay.
But no, they need to knock it down basically and start again. Because they've done that with other preserved buildings that were really, really prestigious in Plymouth.
Yeah.
And if they can do that to very historical buildings, which they have done in the past, then they can do that to that mess that's the concrete mess that's the civic centre.
Yeah.
And it's also the Palace Theatre down the bottom end of town. If they had anything about them, they'd have got lottery funding or trying to get lottery funding to restore that instead of all this half-hearted repairing that's been going on for years.
Yeah.
And it's not going anywhere at all. It's got to the stage now where it's that corroded and breaking down inside that it needs demolishing and just having the front maintained.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's all hypocritical and half-hearted in everything that happens unless it's massive money coming in for building student accommodation. And then that massages the figures from the unemployment, because if you have people in university, then you haven't got them in the job centre.
Yeah.
And they don't pay back the debts.
And I know, because you got to think, you think as well, look at the structure that's going up, as I say, it's at the top end of town now. It's getting higher and higher and higher and higher.
Yeah.
And who's it for? Students.
Well,
and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day,
I love the vibe actually of the students coming into town, because it's multiculturalism. It's people of every gender orientation, and it's what people at Plymouth needs.
Yeah.
At the same time, the mentality of the way the city is run has got to change in conjunction, because it's still living massively in the past, legally and politically.
Yes, we're not.
Sorry for putting my view across on your story.
No, we're not, the city needs to strive forward desperately. It needs to jump out of, of the 19th century, jump into the 20th century, and start picking
21st century.
21st century.
Anyway,
sorry.
So where do you come from originally?
Originally, I was born here in Plymouth.
Oh right.
In Freedom Fields.
Sorry for that.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, it's okay. Freedom Fields in '76.
Yeah.
I then had some complications and I had to go up to Bristol.
Yeah.
Finished that, and then.
What was Bristol like?
Well, Bristol's Bristol. I mean, I didn't remember it because I was at the Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
So that was then. So, from there.
You've been travelling around.
I've been travelling, and I love culture. I love learning different places, going different places. I've got, experience of a lot of places where I've been.
Yeah.
And talking to other people, learning from them what they do. And they say what it's like in Plymouth, and some of them have never even been over to.
Geographically, it's a great area, and that's the frustrating part of this city.
Yeah.
You've got the geography, but it's one of the most depressed areas in the country.
Yeah.
In every other way.
And the reason.
It's all minimum wage.
Yeah.
And one of the problems you've got with people on minimum wage, you also have a high crime rate. So it's easy to criminalise people in this city.
Yeah. And it's not so much that, it's so much that we're not open-minded city. As I said,
you're not kidding there.
But
it's based on hypocrisy.
It's hypocritical.
When you say it's not open-minded, it depends on who you are. If you're in the legal and political system in the city, then it's like a free-for-all.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the population, it isn't, and that's what makes me angry in the city.
I think with what we're talking now, what's the city got to give? Well, I mean,
he used to give everything.
He used to give
go
everything.
across the world.
You know,
and you know, he went to Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And then you got New Zealand, and then you got Australia, California.
Yeah.
He used to have it, and it's just gone backwards. And and I don't know what's caused it to go backwards. And it could have been the war, where everything had to be reinvented and the population had to be rebuilt. And so you had a lot of outsiders coming in to run the city.
Yeah.
That could be it, but I'm not sure. But my frustration is it's a beautiful area of the country to live in. And in the past, it had artists from the southwest after the Second World War that actually left their mark across the world.
Yeah. I mean, we as we know, let's say we as Plymouthians, or if you want to call us, there's lots of development there, or could be development in Plymouth. I mean, we've had, there was so much talk about down the bottom end of Plymouth, what they call Stonehouse area. They were going to knock, I don't know where I heard, I believe I heard this on the news, West Country News. As I said, that can tell it's rubbish.
I wouldn't believe anything in the news.
And they were going to knock all that down and develop it into like a village.
Yeah.
Like a shopping village.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well,
I mean, then they say...
You have to look at the city centre to see the shop, with the amount of shops closed, that putting in more shops into a poverty city at the moment is pretty ludicrous. I mean, going back to, you were saying it's an ocean city, but ocean cities have worked. You'd only have to look at Barcelona to see that. But it's giving people a reason to come into the city.
Yeah.
And it's all right bringing in these events into the city, but you've got to back them up and help them. Yeah. Like the Transet and MTV, they allow them to come in and then they charge them a fee to present themselves in the city. Yeah. Apart from the security side, there's very little publicity or help they have following that up. I mean, like the Transat, there was no monitors in the Barbican to show where the boats were on the way to New York. No. And yet it was a very prestigious event and a very inspirational event. And I was following that because I was recording it. And even in the city centre, there's very little to show for it. Yeah. And when they were at Plymouth, you might as well have forgotten that the race was still on. Yeah, I mean... And you know, if I was running the city, I'd have had monitors all over the place. I'd have made it a very entertaining event, like they would in other areas of Europe and America. Yeah. They'd have made a spectacular event out of it. Yeah. And also with MTV, you know, it doesn't have to be always left to the organisers to carry it through. They could have had it a lot more spectacular event leading up to that instead of the half-hearted backup that the council puts in at the moment. Yeah, I mean, sorry to put my views across in your no, it's fine, video. It's fine. I think with what Plymouth could have to what it's got now, I think we need to develop the I'm going to say entertainment down here, like big bands and big groups go and play it like open air, or try and get the X Factor and stuff like that. You know, or go and play it like Plymouth Argyle. If you go to Cannes, then they out of season, they have a major conference centre there, so they put on major conferences, and then they made it. All these towns are out of the areas. And they've invented themselves so that they encourage people to come in. So you have the International Film Festival in Cannes, and then when it's not doing that, it does cyber events that bring people in, and it's actually backed by the council big time, instead of everything being half-hearted. And that's the problem with Plymouth. You know, it seems to be a sleepy way in the way it's run. That's not really helping the population at all. No. I mean, you look at, like, for instance, we've got... Try not to be negative, but I'm trying to be constructive in what I'm saying. There's one thing I'm going to be positive about. Well, we've had, like, big stars like Elton John come down. He won't come in the pavilions. He'll come and play at home park. That's so right. And Rod Stewart and I think George Michael did. And George Michael came down. So they had to have all the top-end security down there. They come and play in, and they had to roll out do special roll-ins for the grass and all that had to be all redone. Yeah. So that costs thousands. Yeah, but the money they make on the event outweighs that anyway. Then you had to have the event crew and all that. They all had to be paid and security and all that. So, all right, yes, that's a plus because
it made money for the city.
And it also puts the city on the map. The old Heineken festivals they had as well.
So it put money, that on the map. But as I said, from there, nothing else seems to like develop. We've got no. I'll put this now to the where is it? Pavilions.
Yeah.
There's not much coming up there.
Yeah.
There used to be great bands coming there for entertainment, but
I saw the Pet Shop Boys there once.
I saw Status Quo there, and they were good.
They get everywhere. I've seen them several times in America. Yeah, in Holland actually.
Yeah, they're very good, and so I've seen and where else did I see? I saw the Levellers as well, Irish folk rock band, and they were good. And the sound was good there.
Anyway, what does Plymouth hold for you in the future, without going off on too much on that?
What does Plymouth hold for me in the future? Hopefully better prospects of future and more sort of long-term employment. I'm looking to, as much as I say, I like this flat and I love the area.
And you're right in the heart of Plymouth.
I'm right into the heart.
Near Mayflower Steps, where the Pilgrim Fathers went out to discover the world.
Yeah.
So you're right at the heart of everything that's Plymouth.
Everything that's Plymouth. But on the plus side, everyone likes to make themselves, what they say, further themselves is the word.
Yeah, better
themselves. So yes, I'd like my own house. Yes, I would be prepared to live on the outskirts of Plymouth, like Rowborough and that, Plimpton, because that's where the housing more is.
It's not. Well, I'd stay here as long as you could, because you're in a fantastic place.
But I'm in a lovely area. I get no trouble. No disrespect to people in Stonehouse, but when I used to live there, bang on the window, drunks, and all that, that's all gone. Yeah. I don't get disturbed. I don't, it's that. This is the beauty of living around here. There's not a lot of noise at night, not like that. Even at weekends, which is good. So I can come and go as I please, and I'm very happy, and I'm happy to live in this city. I was born in Plymouth, so I'm living in Plymouth. Yeah. End of story.
Well, for me, as a highly motivated person and with a lot of energy and used to having an adventurous life, a city that should be giving me that adventure isn't giving it me. I find it very hard work.
Well, I find that, we're stuck in a time warp, I think, where the growth, the industry in Plymouth, there's none. I mean, we said this
I think they're in fantasy world actually, because they keep saying it's going to develop, and they're talking about 2020 and the relationship with Plymouth, Massachusetts. But will that be a one-off event? I don't want to. I've been in Plymouth since 1992, and I'm getting on a bit now. Yeah. And I want to have a career. Yeah. I want to have a life, basically, and it's not happening here for me.
No.
But my catch-22 is it's the cheapest place for me to live at the moment.
Well, it's the cheapest place for you to live. It's the cheapest place for you to sort of, basically have a roof over your head. Yeah. We've got to.
But that's no use unless you're not working.
Exactly. You've got to be.
Which is the catch-22 for a lot of people in the city.
Yeah, but
they've got a roof over their heads, but they can't earn a living here.
Yeah, exactly. They've got a roof over their heads. So what they call is the word here with survivors. Yeah. Plymouth are survivors. We're not on the highest paid jobs. Some people are, some people aren't.
Well, it's a city of extremes actually, because there's like as I said before, the legal system is a massive money earner for the city because of the low level, the people on the streets, and because of the low wages. So it's a catch-22 where some people are making a heck of a lot of money out of the poverty of others.
And also as well, we've got to think about, there's no disrespect as well, you've got a lot of landlords. Now landlords, I've never met the landlord of this place. It's run by an agent. So he or she, it's a she actually, bought this property, and what anybody would do, put it all into flats. Now, this used to be an old, I think it was a railway place.
Or a mill, or right by the docks,
Yeah, but it was a railway. So the railway people people that in the 19 whatevers, 50s, 40s, 30s, could come and work up here and around for Devonport.
Yeah.
So they'd come and live round here.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at here is that as the ageism of the buildings and that you're not allowed, I think it's by historical law, to knock down buildings.
Oh, restructure it.
Restructure it because it's got the natural brick or the natural stone there, so you're not allowed to do it. It's by some sort of, I think it's a historical heritage law. That's the word, Chris, yeah. So, you know, on a plus side, the beauty about, say, Plymouth is it's very historical, but also, yes, you're governed in...
It was even more so till a lot of the stuff was knocked down.
Until a lot of the stuff, they knock it down to rebuild.
And it's all short-term property as well, because a lot of it's prefabricated buildings. You know, there's some in West Hoe which is just made out of chipboard. Yeah. So you know, the chances are that that'll only last about 50, 60 years before it has to be rebuilt.
Exactly. I mean,
chipboard with tin foil in it.
Yeah.
And they'd be charging the earth for it at the same time.
Because you know why they're doing that? It's because they're charging for the insulation. Because they have the underfloor heating. I mean, the properties I've seen around up on the Hoe. Yeah. Okay, what I call box properties. Yeah. They look all very nice, beautiful views and all that, looking out to sea. But they're what I call basic box properties. Yeah. And there's no history there. There's no development history there. They've built them